Published 21st August 1915. The War by Land by F.A. Mackenzie, War Correspondent. The most important news, apart from that from Russia, which is dealt with in another part of this issue, comes from the Dardanelles. During the past month or two, it has been an open secret that a great move was in course of preparation in the Near East. This new move had two aspects, diplomatic and military. It has now begun. The Allied powers have unitedly sought to induce Bulgaria to join us. A fresh expedition of combined Allied troops is being launched against Turkey. The cost of treachery. The diplomatic campaign so closely affects the military movements that it is necessary to deal with it here. All the world knows that Bulgaria considered herself greatly aggrieved by the terms of the Treaty of Bucharest in 1913. The Balkan states, united in the Balkan League, fought a successful war against Turkey. Bulgaria particularly distinguished herself in the field. After the war was ended, the members of the League quarreled over the division of the spoils, and Bulgaria turned unexpectedly on her old allies Serbia and Greece. The Bulgarian army struck without warning, but struck in vain. In the end, Bulgaria lost many of the advantages she had gained in the First War. Romania, Serbia, Greece, and even Turkey claimed and obtained great slices of territory from her. Not only the whole of Macedonia, but the purely Bulgarian lands east of the old Turkish Vilayet of Kosovo, west from Bulgaria to Serbia. The people of Bulgaria felt that they had been robbed. The world had little sympathy for them. Today, the Allies want to use Bulgaria in their campaign against Turkey. Bulgaria replies in a sentence, "Restore our lost territory to us." She wants other things besides this, but the demand for her territory is the chief. The powers are undoubtedly employing friendly pressure to bear on Serbia to induce her to make concessions. Greece may be made amenable to reason also. The real issue at stake. We are not waiting, however, for the cooperation of Bulgaria. We have made fresh landings at two different points along the coast. The effect of one of these landings, if successful, will be to isolate the ring of Dardanelle forts and to prevent further supplies or men reaching them. This is the first necessary step toward their capture. On one point, there can be no dispute. We must capture the Dardanelles and secure an overwhelming victory against Turkey at whatever cost. The thing that is at stake here is not Turkey, but a large part of our Mohammedan Empire. Our Mohammedan peoples have stuck by us with remarkable fidelity. The Mohammedan soldiers have fought with splendid devotion. But a failure against Turkey would try their fidelity very severely. Most of them, we believe, would stand the strain, but here and there some might not. In the Sudan, in Egypt, in outlying mid-African possessions in Central Asia, there would be ferment, and anything might happen. It is unthinkable that the do-nothing policy should continue for much longer in Flanders. We have, of course, been accumulating troops and munitions there the past 3 months. When shall we have enough, and when is our forward movement to begin? There would be certain obvious advantages in launching out before the Germans are able to bring back their surplus forces from the Eastern Front. Our commanders know this as well as the man in the streets does, and we may rest assured that if we are waiting with a purpose. This delay causes certain political losses, a diminution of prestige, and the perplexing of the people of our allies. There must be a very real gain in view to atone for this. Does lack of money stop war? A few days ago, a trained and level-headed observer came to see me, fresh from a long journey through Russia. He had much to tell of the condition of the country and the army, much that was critical, but through all his talk there ran a marked strain of confidence. The Russian people are assured of victory. Even the occupation of Warsaw and the retirement of the Grand Duke's army have not depressed them, he declared. They know that they are going to win. What do they base their confidence on? I asked. On the knowledge that Germany must soon collapse financially, came the reply. Many people in England think the same, and it is well that they should face one fact. So far as I am aware, history affords no example of a victorious army that yielded for lack of money, or of any determined power that gave in before it was defeated because it could not pay its way. Germany is just now acquiring a large slice of new territory, eastern Poland, one of the most fertile belts in Europe. She bled Belgium white. She makes war like a shopkeeper, turning every yard of conquered territory to profitable use. There is incredibly little waste in her armies. A friendly observer with the Eastern forces recently described that it was impossible to obtain a fragment of a Russian shell as a souvenir, every fragment being gathered up, recorded, and put to use. There is one department of the army which utilizes every item of battlefield wreckage from torn belts to broken helmets. Thrift, the thrift that will retip burnt matches to save wood, is the dominating principle of the nation. Germany's peace talk. Germany's resources are heavily taxed. Her people are heaping up a crushing burden they hope we will have to pay. We cannot rely on the financial exhaustion of the enemy. We can only base our calculations upon beating him in the field. There has been a revival of the talk of peace, a revival started in Germany. It obviously would be to the gain of the Central Powers to make peace at the moment when their cause is at its best. Any peace, save one of our own terms, would mark the beginning of the end for us. What are the German proposals? A friend of mine bought in Stockholm a week ago a German picture of Europe as Germany proposes to make it. Great Britain is to be all German, and Ireland will be divided between Germany and Austria. France is reduced to a small country north of the Pyrenees. Belgium is still to be German. Russia is to start east of the Polish border. The actual program of German statesmen does not go so far as this, but it goes very far. They aim first at obtaining crushing indemnities from all their enemies. Next, they desire a great Germanic state, stretching from the Balkans to Dunkirk, and including, as a matter of course, Belgium. Turkey is to be rewarded by having Egypt handed back to her. Poland is to be unified as a subject Germanic state, while the Baltic provinces are to form part of Germany proper. Then provision must be made for a vast German colonial empire taken mainly from us. This program is regarded by many Germans today as a practical, reasonable scheme, and they are surprised at their moderation in asking no more. What do we ask? Our essential demand can be summed up very briefly. We ask for a condition of things that will make it impossible for a power ever again in our time and our sons' time at least to threaten to override the world and bring misery on it such as Germany has done. And we are going to fight until we make this certain.